Group Stage 2 here, 9 Pandas versus Aster. Two teams that have certain kind of similarities and certain very definite differences, Avery. I mean, first of all, we got to talk about it. It's going to be the mid matchup. Sumail versus Kiyotaka. I think both of these teams play around that mid laner a lot, just maybe in different ways.
I think they're both dependent on the mid as well. I feel like this matchup in terms of the series might come down to which of these just goes more ham in a way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of dependent on the roamers, the supports, what they're going to enable. I think Aster has a way more aggressive roaming mid policy than 9 Pandas do. Nine Pandas tend to want to get like all of their cores equally online, but Kiyotaka is like the true carry out of the three. Ramsey's kind of taking a slightly backseat in a lot of the games we've seen. Here, he's going to pick up that Faceless Void. I still think Kiyotaka is maybe the highest damage in the late game, but Empower Faceless Void is very scary if this game goes late. It's another one of those situations 9 Pandas just want to put their opponents in this position of, hey, the onus is on you to come at us and stop what we have cooking. And I think Aster have a draft that can easily do that. They are definitely going to run at 9 Pandas in this early game, especially they're back with that Enchantress Veno dual roaming support that they love to crash mid on. Kiyotaka needs to think about the roam here. He needs to think about the Enchantress ganks. And that is also what the 9 Panda supports need to be communicating here. Where's Baboka in the early game? Where's Pichu in the early game? Are those supports winning the side lanes hard enough that they're just going to crush there? Or if that gets nullified, they're going to go towards mid.
Considering Kiyotaka's performance so far on 9 Pandas, I'm surprised that they haven't adopted more of an Aster support policy of just rotating on mid constantly. I mean, this guy has been an absolute monster for them. He's been first in average kills coming from Group Stage 1, and he ranks as the third all-time in average kills per game.
Oh, this guy is one of the greatest killers Dota's ever seen, stats-wise, which is crazy because he hasn't been in competitive too long. I think he was the #1 killer at Berlin for 99% of that tournament, maybe until the last series, but absolutely destroying heroes. And I think that's also why they don't feel the need to roam on him, because he kind of prefers the solo XP. He also prefers to play these heroes that aren't necessarily the best heroes to roam for. They're heroes that come on in line in the mid game. I mean, everybody thinks about his Tinker, right? Tinker is the signature hero. Tinker is not always a hero you want to go mid for. He's a hero you want to have strong side lanes so that he can TP to those side lanes, join the skirmishes, and clean up. I think that is the style 9 Pandas prefer. So it's an interesting setup here. Aster, they want to crash mid. 9 Pandas, they want their mid laner to gank the side lanes. That could be another recipe here. Like, Kiyotaka gets a fast 6. I don't think you're going to kill Sumail. Sumail is a hard player to kill in a one-on-one. You pretty much have to gank him to get that threat going. That's a question. Who wants to devote the resources here?
Sure.
And that's dependent on how these side lanes are going, which so far 9 Pandas look like they're doing pretty decent. I was kind of surprised by this Faceless Void pick in some ways, because if you look at this Aster lineup, I mean, go back a couple of years, picking Faceless Void into Beastmaster Veno Ench would be like a death sentence. Like, are you insane? The amount of tempo, the amount of lane pressure. Beastmaster used to be an amazing matchup, but of course, Beastmasters now, they're playing off the axes, makes time dilation a little bit better, and they tend to just farm up and play a little slower game. So I can kind of understand this pick. If you get away with it, you're going to be really happy. It's just how fast is this game going to accelerate here? And that's where I look to this Aster offlane. I think they are in the position to dominate the most, as XXS is pretty much getting everything he wants out here versus an Undying. They're going to go for the time dilation tombstone kill.
And it looks like they should be able to get it here. The slow of the blood grenade attempted from the side from Baboka, but won't be able to stop that kill from happening. That's first blood for Ramses, but they also got the deny on the tombstone. So really nicely done by the duo of Ramses Solo, who recently experienced their 500th win together.
Wow. Nice.
That's pretty nice. You're in one of those, right? Top duos of all time?
Am I?
I thought so, yeah.
Probably. Maybe most losses.
Well, yeah.
Most losses with a combined.
Two sides of the same coin.
Happens to the best of us. I mean, this is the window where 9 Pandas can abuse this Beastmaster Enchantress lane. I think once Enchantress is 3 to 5, it's going to be significantly harder, but this is why you get those early time dilation points. It gets you kills to every Faceless Void out there. Particularly the ones that are on my team. Please kill time dilation.
Strong ability. Strong laning ability. And you're going to need that kind of laning prowess, especially when you're matched up against what is an incredibly hard lane to beat, I would say, normally. Enchantress Beastmaster. Nice jacking away the bottle. It gets the water rune, and on the other side, Pisho denied it. So that's going to leave Sumail without a refill.
And the creep is starting to heat up here for Baboka. This is going to be a tough matchup in the later levels. Tombstone kills are nice, but you're not going to have too many more of them as Ramses is feeling the pain of the tomato here.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like, congrats, you got first blood, but like now we own the lane for pretty much until you decide to go jungle.
Solo is just getting beat on by this boar, man.
He's going to drop the tombstone here, but they might be able to collect both the kill and the tombstone. Ramses, he cuts over, but it's far too late to be able to help out. And yeah, the tombstone, that's a lot of gold for Baboka. Almost died to the zombies, actually. They were going into frenzy mode, but he gets it and gets the kill and is very rich for it.
The big question here is Baboka going to stay down here and continue to fight in this lane because maybe XSS does not feel comfortable standing here 1v2 with the kill threat? Or does he go for the roam mid? This is the window where you want to hit it. It's nighttime. The early wards that were placed at the start of the game have expired. This is like the exact window where mid gank is highest probability for a lot of these roamers. He's thinking about it, but just going to head back towards bottom. Doesn't feel like he can leave the beast alone, or maybe the lane equilibrium mid. Also, Sumail going fountain here does not help the time.
Yeah, he took way too much damage from Kiyotaka, and he just called it quits.
So Kiyotaka doing a nice job mid to win this matchup enough that that roam does not hit in that window. Miro looks like he'll be going down here. Can only escape the Veno for so long, especially in the 1-on-2.
It's a rough lane to play any kind of melee off lane, or even one that has an escape mechanism. It's just not enough. Playing up against a Slark, constantly draining your stats, and then the kill power of Venomancer showing up to lane.
I mean, very high kill threat supports for Aster. They're going to fight the 6-minute rune. It'll be contested on both sides by 9 Pandas and secured. Into this for Kiyotaka. He will be happy about that refill.
Rotation is coming in from both supports here on the side.
He doesn't get it?
He's not going to be able to get it. The Centaur stun actually lands on Antares, but now they're going to turn around. The Kisses, they want the kill on Sumail. They're going to focus on him first. Pisho's up next. Bump Baboka down, which means one of the Kisses missed, but still, great chance to be able to kill him if they could keep the sticky napalm slowing him down.
He has a lot of extra health.
Cookie, nice. Good hit. Antares is getting a little bit low, but he will collect the kill on Baboka. 3 kills going the way of 9 Pandas. What a great rotation for them.
It's what you're supposed to do versus Aster team. Do not let them outnumber you mid, and especially with the Snapfire pick, it's a really strong hero in these skirmishes that we just saw, especially with the early kisses. That goes back to Kiyotaka just playing this mid lane damn well. And remember, this was a hero that Sumail was dominating yesterday in the laning phase with, or the day previous from that. Not a lot of heroes are going to shut Snapfire down from getting that 6, so you really want to make the most of it. Pretty strong early game here for 9 Pandas.
And Miro, once again, is likely to die here, is going to die. And this is, honestly, this is in part just kind of the way it goes. For 9 Pandas, they do sacrifice Miro the most out of any of their players. He has like the second lowest net worth as a percent of his team. I mean, of like all the offlaners. It's rough to be
playing with 2 greedy carries.
Exactly, right? Ramses and Kiyotaka, like both of these guys want to get big.
Casual little roar. This will be the summons class with the catapult. This does not seem defendable.
He drops the tombstone last second because Ramses cut in from behind and caught the Venomancer, so they will be able to trade out supports.
They'll take the tombstone and leave. That'll get that Kiyotaka TP.
Short range scatter blast does tons of damage. Not quite enough to finish him off. This last shot is just enough before the heal could outdo it.
Surprised he got that, but hey, base damage off all these early items for the Snapfire. Paying off. Sumail uses a haste rune, but doesn't get anything out of it. That's a big rune gone. Very powerful rune on the Disco Pony. Still, Aster extracting a lot of net worth out of this bottom lane. You can see Baboka. He is ahead of Miro here. That is a good sign for Aster as they go into this later stage of the mid-game, early game. You want a strong Enchantress here to be able to run at the 9 Pandas lineup and take away their jungle control with this Magnus Faceless Void.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Should also note Monet. I mean, he got those 2 kills on Miro up here. He's also top of the board.
Yeah.
he can also help get aggressive and invade with early diffusal, especially during these nighttime periods. This Slark Vasos Void matchup goes both ways for that reason. Slark can create a lot of tempo versus the Void. You can get Ags, you can leash him. At the same time, Void can just chrono you.
Big kill. It uses both their ultimates, but typically Aster put a lot of net worth onto XXS, and he was getting a lot out of that lane.
Well worth.
Meanwhile, Miro continues to play a very sacrificial off lane, just having to play this constantly scared Magnus, trying not to feed too many kills to Monet.
And these creeps are really confused about the wards on the hill.
Yeah, they really are.
They don't know what to do. They just stand there. Look, this is depressing.
One by one. One by one, they'll fall.
Only the little Satyr was hitting them ranged. He died first. So come on, brothers. We can storm it. We can do it.
Ramsey's slowed down to a crawl here. 8 seconds to those time walk. That is far too late for this kind of rotation. A hefty one from Aster, but they are going to move some more heroes over. Solo keeping Samael slowed down. The cookie lands. Scatterblast comes in, blasts him apart. And now XXS is going to be quite low. Now they do have that bit of poison damage threatening Kiyotaka, and Tari's is going to be able to get the bump back. But he's slowed down too much by these Gales, and now he's going to die to Bobica and XXS, keeping the distance away from the Bat Rider, and ultimately 9 Pandas just didn't bring enough to this engagement. I mean, Miro's probably sitting there, guys, this is the first time I've been able to hit a creep uncontested in 10 minutes. Just let me be.
He's happy about the space, but still Aster are heating up and they're taking advantage of these cooldowns. That's going to be the name of the game. Anytime Chrono's down, anytime Snapfire ult is down, you just run them and you're going to win those skirmishes. This one wasn't super clean as 9 Pandas bring everybody in the Tombstone and still causing them problems, but this is only going to get stronger for Aster for the next 10 minutes here. As 9 Pandas, they're really going to have to think about where they take these fights, what they commit to them, and what happens afterwards. That's the important part for Aster. Even if you die in a Chrono, you die to Kisses, whatever. It's what happens in the 2 minutes after that you need to exploit, make the most on the map, and free up the space. It's also interesting to see that XXS, he continued to go for this Vanguard, but Miero, he just went for this double Bracer build. And this is something you're going to have to think about more in these offlaners. Like, the standard Vanguard Arcane boots into Octarine is not there anymore. You're going to see some more variability in these builds because not every hero just wants casual Vanguard that can't be disassembled in anything.
Yeah, and honestly, Vanguard, like, what's that going to do against this Lark matchup?
Sure,
you know?
This is not a Vanguard lane for sure.
You're going to live longer to have him steal more stats from you.
But I'm kind of curious what these builds end up looking for if it changes the offlane hero pool. I don't know if Ramses can do this. They're going to try and help tank for it. Tombstone definitely helps.
Tombstone plus the double cleaves.
It's a lot of split XP here, but they'll be happy to claim the farm.
When you're talking about that mentality of like dying and just kind of running it back, I feel like no hero embodies that mentality, that philosophy in Dota than Leshrac more, you know?
I think he has no cooldowns.
Yeah, exactly. No cooldowns. A recently buffed Leshrac against some long cooldowns. I mean, this does feel like a dangerous pressure point that Aster is going to try and push the limit here. Monet's going to come over and help out this kill. RP going to be used onto him here. That's dangerous with that Chronosphere locking down 2. A guaranteed 2 kills as the Kisses will help finish off P-Show. Miro even just goes ahead and skewers them back. Samael was able to stay out of that situation, but losing their carry and the killing streak he had does not feel good for Aster.
I mean, nice recognition from Samael. There's a reason he's running back there. He knows this Undying is not just in the river with 9 Pandas out of bottom and out of bottom jungle because XXS is pushing it in. They're going to have the return. That return is strong. Again, Aster will pay the price of the Chrono and the ults, but this is the big period. What are you going to do with this 2 minutes while they're on cooldown? How do 9 Pandas split the map with all the tier 1s, or at least the tier 1 top being up right now? This is Aster's time to get into the triangle, disrupt the farm, take a lot of space away from the Faceless Void and the power, and of course claim a free tower with that DD.
Samael takes the last hit, so that'll help him progress into the Yule Scepter he's looking at.
It's just going to be a game of give and take. And there's not a lot of rat potential from 9 Pandas. So you will have the bots rush on Kiyotaka. He can help with the wave, push the waves. But other than that, it's pretty much Antares, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at this Bat Rider. He has to... I would be telling him, yo, cut as deep a waves as possible every time our ults are on cooldown. Just run to the enemy side of the map, start pulling creeps into their ancients, whatever, some nonsense. Like, even this it's not the worst, right?
Yeah, it creates a little.
Some time.
He knocked him down the cliff. That's not the best. Monet is taking a lot of damage from the flames, but he will be able to commit thanks to his ultimate and help get the kill. Bobica snags the last hit.
So he misplayed that a little, but that type of thing is what he should be doing in this game.
Sure.
Wasting time in a bad part of the map that Aster don't want to run to, especially if you bring the supports there, that's relieving a lot of pressure for your ult cooldowns to come back up. I mean, if he just lassoed him and TP'd there, he even lives. Aster get nothing. That's what's going to keep the net worth very close here.
Well, one
not
nice
really
thing,
another hero that does it.
They've been very dependent on Chronosphere to get the good kisses kills. Now, Miro, he's got his Blink Dagger and they've got RP backup, so they can... This will help cut down the time a little bit more, right? The time where they're vulnerable.
You can start fishing with some Blink skewers if you feel like you can take those types of fights, which you should, because you're skewering them into Tombstone, into Undying ult, into the Snapfire spells. You're going to create that range that you really are looking for here. Especially with Atos on Kiyotaka, can guarantee a jump. Here we go.
Blink Skewer back straight into the Snapfire. Yule Scepter actually dodged a good amount of damage, so this is going to get a little bit awkward. He's probably going to die, but they're going to have to use some extra spells for it. Some spells they probably didn't want to RP now on cooldown.
And this is an interesting Yule's Rush. This is not an item we've seen rushed on Leshrac a lot in previous patches, at least. I don't know if anything about this patch changed it. I think Sumail just wants it for 1, the Dispel, 2, you can use that mag on these initiations.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, right? That was, I mean, going back all to, what, the TI-10 finals, right? The Magnus versus Rubik matchup. If you have an instant disable, it really makes Mag's life a whole lot harder.
It's still a strong item on Lesh. I also want to say his lineup lacks the initiation stuns.
Sure.
Like, you have Roar, but a lot of times the way you've been seeing these Beastmaster plays, it's not Beastmaster leading the fights, just walking in and roaring somebody until you have Blink in the later points. So the Yules also gives them another just easy, clean setup for the supports to play around, create some kill threat on the map. It's also how Sumail likes to play this Leshrac. He was one of those guys who started that Blink Yules Rush build that's just hyper-aggressive. We're not going to see that, but this is close.
Instead, he's going to go Bloodstone.
I mean, you can't blame him. It's a Leshrac staple here.
One of the only reasons that item gets seen at all. Aghanim Scepter now done for the Beastmasters, so we're getting to, if we can get to, the first lasso back, the kisses. First one missed, the rest are going to miss off the Yule Scepter, but there's just enough of them to get the kill, and Ramsey's going to help out. He's actually going to make sure that this fight can continue if they wanted to. Never mind, the two supports just get picked off. Too much damage from the opposing supports. Nice play by Kiyotaka. At least he got the deny on solo, but Antares did fall to Bobica.
I mean, it is a general swing for Aster, but I do feel like they're kind of just leaving Sumail on an island this game. He's just been caught off mid a couple times now. There's nowhere else for him to really go on the map. The supports aren't playing around him. They're not zoning for these smoke ganks. This is also nighttime where they have Slark Vision plus Beast Vision. This should not be a period where Aster are giving up big core pickoffs. Every little piece of the tempo in this game matters for them when they're playing against the Faces, Void, Magnus late game. Still in a decent position here as Baboka has just destroyed the net worth chart, honestly. This is disgusting how much gold he has taken off the map.
Yeah.
He's going to have to put it to good use. He has generally done that with this hero. With the Hurricane Pike Rush, this hero does a lot of damage, max impetus online. He's opted for that over the heal build. Probably for good, since they're not focusing it. Just create as large a damage threat as possible, and you know the Chrono is going to be aimed at the Lesh and the Slark here. And they'll give Sumail the Aegis.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta, you know, give a gift to the Emperor to appease him, since you haven't been protecting him as much as you should.
You think Sumail's a benevolent Emperor? Or is he like Vlad the Impaler?
I mean, I think he, as long as he's getting what he wants, yeah, he's benevolent. But I think he's pretty demanding.
Why am I asking you? I've lived with the guy for like 3 years.
Listen, I think my armchair analysis is pretty good. Okay.
Let me tell you what kind of Emperor he is.
Yeah.
Unforgiving.
Blasted, but Bobica finally falls, but it's enough time for Monet to cut in. Uh-oh. Chronosphere was up as well as the kisses. Did they expect that to be up already? Monet still alive, but the Scatter Blast will finish him off. At the same time, Ramses needs to get off the time walk, and he does with the Rod of Atos holding back Sumail, who's out of mana and has a bunch of zombies on him. Chain stuns all around. 9 Pandas outplaying Aster in this engagement by just the smallest of margins, but it's working. But now on the second life, this is a little much. Force staff TP away, no way. Oh, the Yules gets there just in time. Finally, Aster gets something crucial for all of the resources they spent on that. They had to get that kill.
That was a rough fight for them, man. Like, this is an Aegis Lesh with the Beastag's timing, and you got your Slark all off during Chrono. This is a really nice way to start outside of the fact that you lose your highest damage dealer in Baboka, right? They would much rather have that be the Veno than the Enchantress going down. Still, I thought Aster were going to be able to do better in this exchange. 9 Pandas just straight up outplaying them in these engagements, even with the Whiff's RP.
I mean, I would say one thing, the Tombstone up the entire fight from start to finish.
It takes a while to go down. But the kiting action, playing this fight to 50 HP levels, it's just very nice in and out by 9 Pandas.
Yeah, I can't believe Kiyotaka stuck around on that second life, though.
He almost made it out. Yules is a pretty damn short cast range now. You don't have that type of build here. He lives. Wow, what an expression.
Beautiful.
Look, his face is up on the top.
Yeah, that's where the other half of his face is. Took it off.
Giving new meaning to the phrase split earth. It split his face.
I don't know about that one.
Damn, it's kind of disturbing, dude, the more I look at it. There's like a blue rabbit in there, too. What the hell is going on?
Yeah, it's like a really weird combination of like, oh, here's a cute, like...
It's like an Andy Warhol painting. Some weird minimalist.
Take the commercialization and minimalization of the... Put it all together in one. Aghanim Scepter almost done for Monet.
That's a big item timing.
Yeah, because that'll give him more initiation, right? Like, you talked about how they were kind of missing a little bit of that, like, jump.
Also, just follow up and chase for the Faceless Void in the fight. Like we saw there, you're getting stuck in this Tombstone time dilation, you get slowed down. Being able to reclose that gap is really important here. Honestly, the biggest thing for Aster feels like if Baboka can survive. Because he only has the 2 points in heal. That fight, if he lives, he's going to clean people up. He's a lot of damage in the engagement right now, and perhaps maybe what decides that is the initiation and the vision. I go back to Aster, you need to abuse the Hawks, you need to abuse the nighttime Slark vision. 9 Pandas don't really have a vision answer outside of just throwing the Tombstone down, which Solo's done a decent job of just going in. I think that's part of the reason he wants to just run in first. I mean, obviously he's a tank, he's undying, but also he doesn't want to let the fight start on the Void or start on Sapphire here. He wants to make sure that 9 Pandas see where everybody is from Aster, counteract some of that vision, and then you can land some decent ultimates. I mean, outside of the RP that got whiffed, but then you have a chance of landing some decent ultimates.
Yeah.
And Hurricane Pike for Kiyotaka is just even more kiting. Force Staff on top of Antares. There's going to be a lot of reset potential that Monet is just going to have to leap through.
Pandas, I think they have a bad read of this situation. Kiyotaka might still be able to get away back to the rest of his team, and they are going to get there with the lasso. Uh-oh, he's in trouble, and they've got the Chronosphere to follow that up too, but he doesn't drop it. Ramses holds onto it for now, waiting for a better opportunity, perhaps. Roar goes out. Now he jumps in. Now the Chronosphere, but Ramses, that wasn't the initiation at all. RP got used
Time
at
to
the
get the
same
hell
time.
out.
Yeah, this is bad. And Monet stops the TP away from Ramses. This abject disaster, man. Antares at least picks up one. I mean, I'm sure he did his job, but the rest of his team, I think you cannot say the same.
Why didn't he want to chrono that Slark out of the last one? I mean, maybe he thought he was getting a Dark Pact off and he was like going to have an ult. Maybe that, because sometimes you think that. Like, you lasso the Slark, it's like, did he lasso him before the Dark Pact or after, right? Because he didn't use it. He still had it.
I mean, he self-fuels Sumail, self-fuels, because I think he thought
I thought the Chrono was coming. We all thought it was coming. And then they're just stuck on this Tombstone. And the problem is he doesn't Chrono them while they're killing the Tombstone, so the Tombstone doesn't live.
Yeah.
Something was just off for Ramses in that fight, because high ground Tombstone for 9 Pandas is a dream scenario, especially where Slark chases in and doesn't get that kill. But the formation and positioning was just very awkward. Aster just jammed through the net worth here. The Bloodstone active for Sumail is also going to give him a lot of survivability right now. And That is a one-team fight. Now you have Pipe for XXS going into that third item. He is top of the net worth chart somehow.
He's big. And he's done it too. He has been one of the most farmed offlaners of this tournament. Now, some of that is probably due to like the 5, 6, 7, 8 different Doom games that he's played. But here, even on the Beastmaster, showing top net worth performance and is likely good to continue. If he gets a BKB, I feel like there's not a whole lot that's going to touch him in this game. It is hard to deal with a Beastmaster who's magic immune, or whatever the term is now, and he has the drums, so he's constantly healing himself.
He's a problem. There's a lot of sustain for this Aster lineup just suddenly coming out, and he has the Pipe on top of it. It's a lot of HP to cut through. You have Shard up for Monet as well, so you have Depth Shroud, you have Slarkle, you have Enchantress Heal, you have the Bloodstone on Sumail, and you have this drum build on the Beastmaster with a Pipe to back up all of those sustain mechanics. That is a lot.
That is a lot.
That is a lot of EHP that you're just going to have to chunk through, because taking the long fights is okay for 9Pandas if the Tombstone stays up, but if the Tombstone dies, what are you really playing for after the ults are gone? Like a second time dilation? I mean, it's kind of whatever, right? Now in the later stages, if Ramses gets the 5 slot, 6 slot Void, and you can just go in and start hitting people and taking that fight without being forced to throw the chrono, that's when those fights start to look different.
Yeah.
Because then you can play them a lot slower, you can elongate them, you can play for multiple Snapfire rounds, you don't have to necessarily go in and drop the Tombstone first. That type of engagement seems better for 9Pandas, but right now, way too much sustain. I think Aster are happy to take any 5-on-5 as long as they can see the heroes, start on the heroes, slay the heroes.
Agreed. I mean, I think that
Be the hero that you want to be.
Sorry,
my mom always
interrupted that very important monologue you were on. I think this is an awkward point for Snapfire, right?
Taste the hero. Smoke up from Aster.
All right, we're
Time to
going to
get
get
the
a team fight.
Does that BKB, so you have to think about the jump here. They really want somebody else. They'll take solo.
Got a Force Staff to be able to get him away. An immediate lasso. RP on top of that one. That is a heavy
Still
amount
alive.
of hate. And XXS gets off his BKB. He finally goes down, but he created so much space. Nice Hurricane Pike push back on his Sumail with the Chronosphere on 2. They do have the kisses. They do have him blocked down. Monet, is he going to be able to get out of this one? Managed to pop his Step Shroud. Now his ultimate. He's good. And Kiyotaku thought he was still inside the cloud. Misses, but he gets him in the end. Too much damage from the Snapfire. Nice push back there. Bulbaka, another Hurricane Pike put to use as the damage raining in from the high ground. Hurricane Pikes for days between Bulbaka and Kiyotaka. But ultimately, who came out the better of that one? Looks like 9Pandas.
I mean, they get the Slark kill. That is a well-worthy exchange for your ultimates here, especially while you're waiting for this next Roshan. These last ones have been on point, separating the fight with the big core targets. I thought for sure Aster are going to get the initiation there, but the Force Staffs come out too fast. Maybe they didn't want to commit on solo, but I think it's okay to go on him before the Tombstone. That said, maybe you're also giving free RP and Chrono counter initiation. It's scary when you don't see the Void and you don't see the Mag here for Aster. Again, the vision just not good enough to find that jump. And Ramses, that Chrono was a better one. Seal the Slark's fate in the end and create the time for Snapfire to get another round of spells off. That's pretty much what you're looking for.
Yeah.
I can't believe XXS survived, though.
Yeah, that was
What the
intense.
hell?
Lassoed into an RP. There was
That
even a
should
little
not
bit
happen.
of overlap there. I thought it was going to be good when Sumail was able to run in as XXS was dying, and he was like, there was 4 heroes around him. He was doing so much damage. And then he got Hurricane Pike pushed out of that position. But it also felt like everybody was pretty tanky on 9Pandas.
I mean, he did basically the same damage as Baboka. Honestly, I'm not feeling the Leshrac shredding people like I'm used to in my mind. I think they're not really clumping around him. I think Sumail's just having a hard time sticking on top of the heroes, getting this ult damage through. Because he's running out of mana, so his spells are going off. 9Pandas just kiting it out. You also have Time Walk to deal with. You have a little Undying heal. This is some mini sustain for 9Pandas. They can draw out his mana, waste some of the resource. But in general, Sumail does feel untouchable if that Bloodstone goes off. He just runs in. And now that is another cheese in Aegis. 9Pandas, they kind of win that fight, but not enough to claim any map control. And Aegis is the best tool for Aster in this game, along with that cheese. because now you have a tool to not care about Chrono, not care about the lasso, the RP. Monet has a lot more freedom to be very aggressive in these exchanges, which is what Aster want, for the Slark to be able to go in without fear.
It seems like the game plan for both of these carries, right? Because you've got Lincoln's being built by Ramses on top of his BKB. He really just wants to be able to be in the fight without having a threat of getting bursted down.
It's an interesting Lincoln's game. There are some random spells that can pop it, and you're pretty much buying it for the roar. I want to say like maybe a Lesh Yules or some Hex that's going to come out later. If he gets it on the big spells, he'll be happy with this exchange, but you also are kind of sacrificing like a Scotty slot or something here that would just make you tankier and still be pretty damn good versus all the heal that Aster have. That was what I was thinking. This is better for the initiation exchanges.
Yes, and I think that means he's entrusting Kiyotaka to output his damage, which he is still not level 20. He almost has a data list, but getting level 20 is going to be super important.
And they are sitting on the high ground ward, so again, the vision very key here. Veno ward going to break it, and that is the signal for Monet to just force this fight. Still has Aegis.
Ramses sees an opportunity to go on the left-hand side, but on the right, Miro hits an RP. Not good enough to stop the Slark, who actually had the Dark Pack going and will be able to bring him down. Ramses now drops the Chronosphere. It's just on the Beastmaster, though.
Healing.
Not the best, and he is healing way too much. Ramses taking a lot of damage, and now he's locked down by the pounds. With all of those shots raining in from Boca, Samael, even with the shield rune, is able to just dare into the tier 4 towers. Fortunately, the Force Staffs are always there to help 9 Pandas in a win or lose engagement, and it feels like they're able to limit some of their losses thanks to Force Staffs. But you've used your abilities. This time you lost the team fight, and Aster will take everything you have if possible.
This is a very fast objective-taking lineup with the Edict and the Beastmaster attack speed. And of course, you still have Aegis online. Cheese was used, but Monet is sitting on 2 lives and a crap ton of Agi stacks. 51 stolen with 9 permanent right now. Another reason these buildings are going to melt if you cannot contest, and I don't think you're contesting without the ults. That Chrono was just not good enough. The fight got forced on you this time. 9 Pandas unable to recreate the gap and take multiple Snapfire spells into the engagement.
And I think that's why Antares is pushing out mid, because the last thing he wants is them to just go hit mid tier 2 and then hit mid tier 3.
Yeah, I mean, you're lucky you have that tier 2 up mid. You're looking at multiple racks here. And honestly, you still have Chrono on cooldown for another 60.
Yeah, they could have gone bottom, but
they are going bottom. And they're chasing this bat. Sick of his shenanigans. Sumail will use
and the side. He got his BKB out of it, though, but he will not be alive, at least for the first start of this push that's coming in from Aster.
And that tips straight to Bobica for the Hex completion that he has accumulated in this game. Ridiculous amount of gold.
Yeah, seriously.
That is a very powerful item, because now the Enchantress is a damage threat. She's also a lockdown threat. You just run in. Bobica is a very easy pathway to canceling that Lincoln's with the Dispel, and then you just Hex Ramses. All of a sudden, Ramses has to kind of run away from this Ench because there's no way you're chronoing Enchantress and winning a fight. This is a very obnoxious hero all of a sudden for 9 Pandas to deal with in the engagement. The Veno wards are causing problems for the Blinks on top of it, whereas Pichu has an Aeon Disc of his own. So both of Aster's supports are just not clear targets for 9 Pandas to go on unless you get a Lasso or a Skewer, pull them in deep, and reorient that fight position. It's probably your best bet here, especially in a high ground defense position. We've seen 9 Pandas in this position before. They are used to playing for this late game high ground defense situation, but are you outscaling Aster at this point? That's another question. Your mag is just not going to get another item in this game at this rate.
Yeah, and I think that's always a very interesting test, because it is going to come down to his plays on a high ground defense, whether or not 9 Pandas can live or die. And he has to do it in a game that he probably has not felt great about. I mean, he is sitting at 8th in overall net worth. He's probably not feeling this game very well, but can you still manage to pull out the plays in a matchup that you're not the one leading the charge?
Cannot blink dodge that ult, my friend.
Oh, there's the first miss. Miss Skewer there. And now they're going to be slowed down as the ultimate from the Venomancer pops on all those heroes. They do have the Primal Roar, and they do have a lot of control. Ramses is going to be able to get the Chronosphere onto all of these heroes, and the Bloodstone is just not enough. Too much single target damage. X-Success is fine. Monet, apparently they don't need Samael. They're just going to keep poking at 9 Pandas. After all, it's all about the cooldowns. shots, hit him with the RP. Holding on the Beastmaster, though, he got hexed up before he could get the skewer back. XXS now popping his BKB and joining Monet as they lock down Ramses, gets a force tap off the high ground and barely gets the time walk off.
It missed uphill too.
Oh, Bulbaca, a lot of damage there from Kiyotaka. He's got that level 20. Those shots from the little shredder are dangerous. Nice push back there from Atari. It's just what he needed
to
get
him out.
Kiyotaka back to the fountain, but he will give up his own life and response. The shots coming in once again. They need to play off of these little shredders. The only chance to be able to hold these lanes to barracks, and that's why Sumail wants to be able to kill him. He's willing to throw everything he has to kill this guy, but Kiyotaka slips away once again.
They're wearing through Sumail's resources here. This is his buyback. He rejoined this fight for a reason. It is to get Megas here, but you have to clear through the heroes. You don't have that Aegis. You don't have Cheese anymore. No Chrono, but these time dilations are adding up. This is a dangerous commit. You are getting worn down. Need to let Monet frontline, need to let him do the work with the ult and the Depth Shroud, and Skewer hexed again!
Again, the initiation denied! Bulbaca just 2 on point with these ones, 4 staff away. They managed to get a jump out, and now it looks like Monet is going to be able to get the pounce onto Ramses with the Depth Shroud. Steals some stats, goes back to the lane of barracks, which they should be able to get no problem. Bulbaca, twice now he's lived off of like 100 HP or less. Oh, Kiyotaka, they're finally going to be able to catch him. 4 staff gets him out of Split Earth, but he's still dead.
Does have
buyback now for him. Chronosphere in 30 seconds. 4 staff trying to get pulls the mail out of here. The shots.
2 minutes.
Too much. Little Shredder absolutely shredding Sumail. A dieback and an opportunity for 9 Pandas to be able to get back into this game, but they need as many of these kills as possible. XXS, he's going to die next. Bichu. Oh, Ramses, he's afraid of overcommitting here. A wise sense. Aster still sticking around as Monet has plenty of stats stolen.
Aster getting a lot out of that Leshreck buyback. Another lane of racks and that Kiyotaka buy, so you're happy to trade the mid buys while you're going up objectives, and a crap ton of gold here. Just so much into the Aster supports off that. The Hex from Avoca paying off twice in those fights. I think Ramses threw his Lincolns on Nero before he jumped, but I don't know what procced it. All I saw was the Lincolns on the Mag's corpse. So
maybe they used Yules and Scythe?
Maybe it was just that fast, or maybe it's one of those things where it's like too late as well. It looked very weird, but either way, that's something that 9 Pandas are trying to think about. The thing about the Mag going inverse, these instant disables, just cutting off the skewer displacement here. He does not have BKB, and I don't know if he can ever get to it in this game.
Yeah.
He's just been mega punished from the laning phase on. You picked Mag for Empower, and that's about all you're going to get at this point. As Ramses pushes for Nullifier.
Yeah. You got to feel for 9 Pandas here. There was this limited window where the Leshrac dieback gives them, control of the map wherever they want to go. They obviously know Roshan could have spawned a good 40 seconds ago, but it won't. It's a late Roshan, and that means Sumail has time to come up. But maybe Aster still pushed to contest Roshan, not knowing if it's up or not, and may end up in an initial 4 versus 5. The Hawk is spotting him out, though, and they're going to be able to find Miro just who they wanted. Kill him again. Make sure he just does not get an opportunity to get off these RPs. You managed to get a 3-man chrono. They shots in for Little Shredder, finishing off Bulbaca. So much attention onto Bulbaca. The kisses are used even to finish him off, but the Chronosphere, there was no damage put into it as a result. Monet's a little bit low. Ramsey saw an opportunity, missed out on the time walk, though.
He's too low.
Gets him away. Now trying to continue to jump on Monet, has healed up a little bit off of no vision and will come back for that kill. Antari's caught in the corner and killed. Only survivor of this one is Kiyotaka. Bulbaca, even though he died, he drew so much attention.
That is how much they're valuing this Enchantress in the fights, I guess. I don't know if that's the right call, but Kiyotaka was too far away from that chrono to probably run up and get the kisses anyway. So you don't really have a choice. And now you're looking at a throne push with no chrono and not a lot of buybacks here, if any. Ramsey's bought out for that Sacred Relic. He's dead for 60 with nothing. I don't know if Aster know this, otherwise I think they'd be hitting your throne right now, but they're going to show the respect. Wait for the next Roshan.
Yeah, they were very much all in on being able to win that fight and get the next Roshan. Probably feel like the game's over if Aster get it, which they're going to do now.
what you would do for a couple of Tome of experiences here. You just need Snapfire 25. I don't see anywhere else you're winning these fights. You need the, I mean, the Chronos have been landing decently from Ramses. If you have the level 25 on Snap, you get that split shot going. Imagine you have 3 Shredders going into those 3 in the Chrono.
With a Mindbreaker?
Why not?
That's a lot of damage.
The problem is Kiyotaka is still 2 levels away, and that is a lot of XP to make up here. Especially with how fast Aster are just going to run down your bottom lane through that gate. No fear at all. Monet has Aegis as well as Refresher Shard in the backpack. So he has 2 lives, but then when he comes back, he has another set of saves. Just a ridiculous amount of sustain for Monet to run in and not care about anything here. And of course, Chi's back onto Samael. It's going to refill his HP and his mana. Big problem if you cannot burst him down the first time. You're going to need a deep lasso pull or the deep skewer. The skewer has not been reliable. I don't even know if it's reliable with the Lincolns on him. Aster might just be too fast with Yules, with Atoses, with Hex. That is a scary blink. And this is an interesting smoke. Maybe just looking to go in the base top. Not even take the heads up fight where someone's going to get displaced, but let the Slark nighttime vision give him the jump.
The Hawk. Bobica blinks forward. He's going to be the one caught. They do manage to get the roar off, but after the double force staff, bring Bobica pretty far away. Not enough to get him into the fountain, though, and Solo's already dead. They're still going to go for this Enchantress, focusing him down. The little Shredder, they take him out. So, that's a hero with no buyback. 9 Pandas can play this one out. It's going to be a 4 versus 5, and Aster will be forced to retreat. Wait for Bobica to come back up in a minute.
Oh, he went for the Blink Hex, did not get it, and will pay the price. Nice little pick off from 9 Pandas. You're willing to trade a Undying buyback for that. Stall out this game a little longer. It's also more XP going into Kiyotaka. Almost level 24 here. I mean, you give level 25 to the 2 cores on 9 Pandas, and they've got a chance to pull this game back. This is where you want to strike. Strike hard if you're Aster. Daytime hurts Monet a little bit here. Another reason that stall was pretty valuable. And of course, Lasso, no cooldown on this spell anymore.
Going on to Ramses, bit of a poke here. There's always 4 staffs, there's always cookies to get away from these pounces.
Yeah, they're really trying to fish for this fight. No Enchantress is a big deal. It frees up the skewer plays, also just frees up Ramses being able to play more aggressive. But I don't think there's any reason for Aster to give it to him. Still have a lot of time on this Aegis right now. And of course, Baboka is going to be able to TP straight back down here, so you can just go round 2, push up the base. See what you find. Baboka TP to the tier 1 instead of the outpost. Interesting heads up play.
Is it a heads up play? There's no heads up.
Oh, Antares dies a Tormentor. That is a dieback.
Oh god.
He is dead for 100.
Oh god.
Well, that's an opening.
No.
Aster, time to push.
Yeah, I mean, the entire combo was supposed to be able to blink lasso, pull somebody back, and then get the skewer afterwards to help out Miro. Now Miro has to do it once again without that initiation, where he's likely just going to get jumped in, or XXS is going to jump first. They do go forward. Ramsey gets the Chronosphere off of that one.
That's good
Kiyotaka, really good position, but the Depth Shroud comes in from Monet. They cannot target those heroes, but he still get the RP. Skewer back, right in front of the fountain. Close, though. Woo. So damn close. They actually have a pause because Solo has disconnected. This is a beautiful position to be able to get a nice tombstone and ult out.
I mean, this has to be the dream fight for 9 Pandas, outside of the fact their bat died to a neutral creep. Like, you would be living the dream right now. You might still be a bad crash timing as well. We'll give both times to think about it. I mean, if GPK were on this squad, we'd already be unpaused right now, but he's not. Thank God. Solo will have time to reconnect.
I mean, the problem is they don't have Little Shredder.
No.
So some of their damage is limited. They could kill XXS. But the other 2 heroes might be a little bit hard to bring down.
I think XXS is dead.
I think so,
stunned on 200 HP. I think he's gone. Will not get BKB off. This is very deep for Aster to take the fight.
Pop Bloodstone, they actually go into it. Oh, Yule Scepter and all these heroes, it's actually a trap apparently. Samael and Monet take the time to formulate a plan to go on the offensive. Kiyotaka finally dies, but he does claim Samael's life before he falls. Monet almost dead, got him.
That Hurricane Pike.
Oh, Miro, he's gonna die outside of that, but Ramses, He is left in a 1v3 with no Chronosphere.
That Hurricane Pike was absolutely sick by Mavoke. It stopped that skewer mid-charge, saving Monet from the fountain. That might have finished it off, but instead, Aster, like you said, they had a couple seconds to think about the plan, and the plan was, fuck it, let's go.